Boom, shakalaka boom. It's a FAFO Friday here on the Clay Edwards Show, the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. We are live here in the, we'll call it the FAFO.com studios today. I'm wearing my FAFO shirt. I've got everything on the website on sale right now. I mean, marked way down. I got some inventory that I need to move so I can order some fresh new inventory. It's marked down at least 50%. That's right. You can get the FAFO shirt, normally $30 for $15. I've even got some sizes available for $10 that I have been sitting on that need to go. Ended up with a couple 2XL talls. So if you like a longer T-shirt, I got some for $10. Come on, take them. They cost more than that to make. Come take them off my hands. FAFO.com. Got a few of the Vote Felon shirts left available in some sizes. I might have others. If I'm out, the size will show up not available. So you're not going to order anything that's not available. Also, the FAFO tank tops are marked down to, I think, $15. And so are caps and flags are down to 10. Like I said, everything got to go. Make that happen for me. FAFO.com. Support your boy. All right, SHAUN YURTKURAN here in the studio with me real quick. SHAUN, plug your law firm before we get started.
Sometimes I forget, right? I'm here so much. I'm like, all right, I run a lot. I run the YURTKURAN law firm. We're in Fondren. I do criminal defense, DUI, everything under the sun. So if you mess around and don't want to find out, give me a call, 601-906-9094.
I like it.
Yeah.
So, SHAUN, we were chit-chatting coming in this morning.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing a little stuff on the computer simultaneously here.
Oh, I got a birthday shout-out, though. We got our friend Lindsay Beckham's birthday, and she's going to be 40. So
Is today Lindsay's birthday?
It's actually Sunday, but
gotcha.
But I figured to be here today. So.
Well, I'll see her here Monday morning, so we'll make sure we sing happy birthday.
Yeah.
To her. Well, good to know that
entering
Lindsay,
the 40s. You know.
Good to know. She's held it together quite well.
Yeah.
She's held it together.
She was showing those. She's in the Miss Mississippi pageant and stuff years ago, and I was like, well, was the swimsuit competition when was it the full the whole suit? That was that long ago where it was covered everything.
Oh yeah.
So
that's funny. She's gonna kill you.
Yeah, pretty much.
She's gonna kill you.
Yep.
I tell you, I've been trying to get this computer up here to work with a camera so we can stream this show, and it is not ever going to work. So I was hoping to announce today that we'd be live streaming the show on video by Monday, but that is apparently not going to happen, at least with this setup. So,
no, is that a new computer?
Well, he completely redid it.
Oh,
and it just ain't working. I don't know what it is. Something is prioritizing the signal that the camera uses, and it's blocking the camera from using it. But there's no rhyme or reason for what it is. But neither here nor there. We are being able to live stream this show. It is top priority for me, and I'm trying to pull up my show notes here. They reset the computers. All my passwords have been wiped out. But that's fine. SHAUN and I were talking this morning coming in. And we were talking about a little sports, man. It's a football Friday, too. We're getting ready for high school football tonight, college tomorrow, and, of course, NFL Sunday, Monday, Thursday. So, I mean, there's football almost, 5 nights a week
it's
nowadays?
Like the only day's like Tuesday. There's no football, right? Something like that.
Yeah, you can probably find some MEAC or MAC or HBCU stuff on Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
The little lower conference stuff, G5 type stuff.
And we never can get enough. That's the thing, never get enough.
Man, I was thinking on the way in, I've talked about this before. It's nothing new here, but I was listening to Jason Whitlock or Clay Travis because they weave in politics and sports, so I can kind of get the best of both worlds with guys like that. And I just got to thinking, like, if you put a gun to my head this morning, I could not tell you the name of the Mississippi State head coach or starting quarterback. Now, if I saw their names on paper, I'd be like, okay, that's the head coach and starting quarterback. But to save my life, I could not tell you either one's names. And to explain what a pivot that is for me, that would be like me waking up in a year from now and not knowing who the president and vice president was or who was running for office in 4 years.
Yeah, talking about how it's changed, right? Okay, how much you were into it.
Yeah, how much I was into it versus kind of how much I'm not into it anymore. I don't get me wrong. If it's on, I still enjoy it.
Right.
It's not like I hate football now, but just where the importance of a sport that I have zero participation in the outcome versus something that I think is way more important and affects our day-to-day lives and way much more.
And what you do for a living too, right? You know, for like, I guess if you're every day, you got to be into it. And just
true enough. I think a lot of my sports fandom had to do with I hated what I was doing for a living at the time. And it was like, what is my escape from that? And sports was the escape from hating. I don't want to say hate's a strong word. I was never satisfied in a non-creative role.
Right.
You know, whether in sales and running the internet departments and sales manager and all that stuff. I mean, it was a good living and met a bunch of great friends and had a good time for years. But something's missing, you know, when you just show up and you punch a clock, so to say.
I know. I think it's I think there's nothing wrong with working for someone. I think everybody needs to at one point in their life to start their whole career out. But I think there's also different types of people that can't really work. I'm one of those people. I think you are too. Like we're just not people that can work for somebody. You know, you kind of have to go your own way.
You know, I like freedom.
Yeah,
and it's funny. I say I like freedom. I probably have less of it now, but I can come and go and do as I want, and it only affects me.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. I don't, you know, and that's more important than money, actually, to me. I'd rather have that than have more money. Like, if someone offered me a job making more money than I'm making now, I would stay doing what I'm doing now just because I have freedom.
I had this conversation yesterday. People make comments on my Facebook about some of the stuff I post. You're just doing this for clicks to make money. Well, yeah, basically, but I can make money. But you don't make money on static photos. Mm-hmm. So if I post a picture of a prostitute walking down Highway 80, I don't make any money on that. I just catch a lot of grief because a bunch of fake do-gooders get their feelings hurt. Oh my God, I can't believe you posted a picture of a prostitute walking up and down Highway 80. You don't know her. You don't know her story.
Yeah,
I don't give two damns about her story. But and I'm going to circle back to that. But I could quit this. This is a labor of love that I happen to make enough money to survive doing, and that is where I have found my happiness. That if it was about money, I would still be in the car business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because you can make a lot more money.
Absolutely. I don't do this for money. I do this for freedom, and I feel like I'm making a difference, and I'm getting a point across that I feel like wasn't being gotten across at the level I thought it should be getting across, especially locally. Mm-hmm. And I felt like I have filled a void, and I'm very personally satisfied doing it. If that means some months I struggle, some months I do better. Some months people buy shirts. Some months people don't. Some months I make a lot of money on TikTok. Some I make zero. You know, that's just the ebbs and flows of life. But I don't do any of this for money. So I do it so I can post pictures of prostitutes walking up and down Highway 80 without losing my job for doing it.
I feel the same way about my Facebook posts. I like to joke, obviously. Anybody follows me on there a lot, and some of them are off color as well. And if I was working for somebody, it wouldn't be that easy to do that. So
No, exactly. I mean, I do it because of freedom. I want to be able to post the screenshot of the Mississippi Free Press talking about black excellence, and and talk about, hey, is this racist? If you replace the word black with the word white, would this be racist? These are conversations that you're not allowed to have, or there's a fear of having. If you work for somebody else.
Yeah, or I'd like to crap on the Hinds County Board of Supervisors for raising our property taxes again and not going to do anything with the money. So, I think, do we have, Kingfish probably knows this more than I do, but I assume we have the highest property taxes in the state. I'm guessing we do. I don't know that for a fact. But
highest in the Tri-County area from what I've heard. I mean, I don't know. But
so, I mean, and now I just, this morning it's like $40 more. And I'm like, great. Just keep on nickel and diming us to death. That's kind of what they do in Hinds County. Like, I'm about to get another car next week, and my thing is like, man, I got to pay the tag on a new car. Like, it's just like
it'll be every bit of $1,500.
Yeah, at least. I mean, and it's just insane. It's because, and what am I getting for that? Like, it'd be different if I was like getting something.
Yeah, where is the money going? Yeah, I made that video the other day. I was riding through some back roads between Brandon and Florence. Was that 468 maybe?
Yeah.
I got all those 460 whatevers confused. Over by Van Sporting Goods, you turn and come up the backside of Florence there, by the school and all that, whatever highway that is. They're resurfacing it, and they're doing it the right way. They're scraping it up and putting a new surface down. Bro, that road, if there's a road in Hinds County that good, I don't know where it is. But my point being, and of course Kingfish corrected me, is that with the repaving State Street, true enough. And how long past due is that? Is the real question.
They're doing it downtown, right?
20 years past due?
At least, yeah.
I mean, that stretch of State Street in front of the old Capitol was one of the roughest roads in Jackson.
Oh, it has been forever, yeah. And by the way, there's a Speaking of that, so there's on Jefferson Street behind Martin's, there's a street light that went down and it's like hanging in the middle of the road.
Yeah, I left lunch the other day and took some pictures of it. And,
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
It's been there for a week.
Yeah.
And
an 18-wheeler hit it.
Right.
Yeah, I took pictures of the actual accident.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's probably going to stay down until and look, in their defense, maybe there's some contractors that have to come out and do it, whatever. I don't know. But generally speaking, I would have thought Public Works would have handled stuff like that. At least cleaning it up.
At least cleaning it up, So like that's the way I go to Martin's is down Jefferson and my little back way to Martin's so I've been counting. Yeah, it's been like at least I think 7 to 8 days that it's sat out there.
Yeah, because they got the road closed right there.
Yeah,
now.
right.
That's right. Because we left that watch party at the GOP headquarters the other night, and we came down Jefferson to get on the interstate, and the road was closed. I didn't even think about what it was closed for because it was nighttime. I couldn't see that far ahead.
Yeah,
turned around and went down High Street. But yeah, I mean, it's just nothing gets done.
I mean, they're not gonna. Can they pick the light up? The light's still staying on the ground.
Well, man, it's like when I was working over at Watkins Auto Sales on 80. Somebody dumped a toilet bowl at the corner in between Watkins and Toys R Us.
Yeah,
just on the green right there on the side of Highway 80. And I just started this Facebook campaign of how many days will the toilet sit there before somebody with the city or whoever's supposed to clean it up picks it up. And, of course, there were all those people, why don't you do something with it? You don't like it there? Why don't you pick it up and throw it away? I very well could. That's not the point.
Yeah.
The point is, it's not my responsibility. It's the city's responsibility. We're paying taxes. We're doing all this. So finally somebody had enough, and they called the mayor's office. And the mayor's office said, tell Clay to quit lying. That ain't our responsibility. That's the county's responsibility to clean up Highway 80.
There we go.
And it was just like, it was at that moment. This was 4 years ago or so. And it was just at that moment. It was right when I first started this radio show, honestly, is when it was, because I remember just having fun with it every day. It's day 2 of Toilet Gate, day 3 of Toilet Gate.
Yeah.
At this point, I was going out there putting a Clay Edwards Show sticker on it every day. And it was all covered in my stickers, or Save Jackson, whatever I was using at the time. And finally, it disappeared. I don't know who picked it up, but they did it with a little fanfare. But it disappeared. But Sean, it took like 5 or 6 days. And it took the mayor's office denying it was the city's responsibility, that it's the county has to clean up Highway 80. Okay, that's fine. Call the damn county and tell them to clean it up.
Yeah, somebody.
Or just, hey, the city offices at the time were right across the street at the Metro.
Yeah.
You couldn't turn in and out of that main entrance without seeing the toilet there.
There's not some dude that could have just gone by and picked it up. Like, how easy would that have been?
Yeah, I mean, I remember asking Jake Wyndham, like, Jake, how long would a toilet have been sitting on the side of Highway 80 in Pearl?
Yeah.
He's like, as long as it took me to see it and get it picked up.
Right.
And whether it was him that did it or he called Public Works or whatever.
That's what I'm saying. Jake would probably pick it up and get rid of him himself. I mean, if I'm Chokeway and I'm getting complaints, like, can you imagine Chokeway picking up a toilet? I mean, he's put the whole city in one, so you think you should be able to pick it.
He's modeled the city after a toilet.
Yeah, yes.
Let's take a call real quick. Hey, good morning. You're on there.
Good morning, Clay. I've got to ask you a question. Do you define racist?
Black people in Jackson blaming everything
no,
on me.
No, man, define racist. Stop acting like him. Define racist.
You define it. You're the one that called and asked. Tell me what you think it is.
You want me to define racist?
Yes.
It's discriminating against a group of people that's normally the minority.
White people in Jackson.
So how do writing an article about black excellence have anything to do with racism?
Because if you called it white excellence, you'll be crying that it was racist.
You're lightweight. You don't want this argument.
Yes, I do.
You don't want this
Bring
argument.
Bring it.
What you're doing is, Clay, you're exemplifying the racist. Because a person that's not racist, Clay, that don't bother them. Things like that, things that you bring up, it don't bother people that's not racist.
So if I put an article out that said white excellence, would white excellence bother you? Would white excellence bother you? Would white excellence bother you?
No, it don't.
Yes, it would. If we look, I understood. I'm going to talk. I understood back in the day when we had black Miss America pageants versus Miss America pageants. And I'm just going to use this as an example. And white people always won the damn thing, or blacks weren't allowed. So we created these separate entities. There was a time and a place for that, right? I believe so. Well, by the late 90s, 2000s, you have black women winning the Miss America pageant. At that point, there's no need for a black Miss America pageant. We talk about this was the thing I'm talking about. The Black Excellence Award was something to do with HBCUs. No crap. that black people won the damn thing. It's an HBCU. Enough said. But this black excellence, everything, y'all decided everything that we do is racist. But when you do the same damn things, it's not. And you try to tell us you're the racist for even questioning it, it doesn't make any sense. We're not gonna continue to stick our heads in the sand and pretend that you're not the racist, but we always are. Now you can talk.
We don't have a 450 year head start like you all. You don't have no basis for your argument. You're not ready for me.
I'm always ready for you.
That's
I can do this all day.
Don't bother me, Clay. We don't have a 450 year head start. We wasn't in bondage and kidnapped and brought to this country.
Who's that? Who's to blame for that?
You guys wasn't kidnapped and forced and brought to this country.
And I didn't kidnap and force and bring anybody to this country. You weren't kidnapped and forced and brought to this country.
But
what do you have to say about that?
And we traced them.
So?
And I traced my great-great-grandparents. Yes.
So?
Clay, you talk to a heavyweight.
You've had 100 years to get this thing straight.
Wait a minute, Clay. My daddy's daddy, your conservative Jim Crow laws took 20.
Sean, what year was slavery abolished?
In the United States, 1865. Well, I mean, I guess you could say 1865, 1866 was when the 15th Amendment was passed. I think it was 15th.
And it went like with Juneteenth and all that. When was that?
I think Juneteenth is 1865, but I'd have to double check.
So we got about 150 years. It's been about 150 years since slavery was abolished. Okay,
something like that.
Thanks, Snowball.
You know,
let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show here with SHAUN YURTKURAN on 103.9 FM, WYAB. Oh, this segment, man, after that, it reminds me that I need to get out to Guns and Gear and load up on ammo. And there's a lot of crazy people in the world. And Snowball being front and center of most of them, being the ringleader of the shenanigans there. Located right there at 51 North at Yandell Road in Gluckstadt. That's Guns and Gear, your home of no limit ammo, as well as they got all the guns you can imagine, shotguns, AR-15s, pistols, you name it. They got it on the walls there. Check out gunsandgearms.com. See all the inventory, everything they got. Or better yet, just stop by in person, hang out with Hunter and the team today. Then I'll answer any questions you may have. They've always got some type of sale going. They're battling big tech. Meta, Facebook's kicked them off there, so it's hard to find their deal of the day, but they're still doing their deals of the day. They're open every Tuesday through Saturday, closed on the Lord's Day, and of course Mondays to kind of get everything together for the week. But get over there today. Don't forget, they'll take care of all your gunsmithing and Cerakoting needs as well, and they will buy your guns. If for some odd reason you want to sell a gun or trade one in, you can do that over there at Guns and Gear. But let's be honest, trying to sell your guns like trying to sell one of your kids. It's a tough proposition. It's like, well, I bought it because I want it. I may never need it, but what if I do? I'll just buy another one. It's funny the things we can justify to spend money on.
Yeah, I'm that way with Nikes for some reason.
Yeah, like I think I had 3 guns that I've never fired, but I had to have them.
Yeah.
It was like my life depended on those, and they still may. Anyway, check them out online, gunsandgearms.com, or go by, see them in person. 51 North at Yandell Road, right next to Boo's Smokehouse Barbecue, in that little shopping center there. If you're going north, it's on the right. The Guns and Gear text line, 769-241-1944, should be of no surprise that it has absolutely melted since Snowball came.
No way, really?
Came on. And believe it or not, Snowball, nobody agrees with you. Furthermore, America hasn't even been a country for 300 years. So I don't know where you're getting 450 from. SHAUN says I prefer to say we brought y'all over here. We didn't bring nobody. I'm from a family of poor sharecroppers as well, basically white slaves. We had to come up out the mud as well. I would be foolish if I didn't sit here and say that America didn't have racial problems. Me and SHAUN had a really long conversation about that the other day. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying that that black folks were dealt a bad hand. Nobody's denying that. I guess white folks, you could say, overall, did have a bit of a head start. But I don't know how much more of a head start of a fix you want to this. I truly don't. You live in the blackest city in America. You're in full control of it. And it's an absolute disaster of your own making.
Well, it's funny you bring this up. This just came out because speaking about Lindsay and his birthday, we were discussing the same thing last night. And here's what I said. The social programs of late 1960s, and this is a conversation I had with really good black friends of mine talking about this who brought this point up to me. The social programs of the late 60s and 1970s that were meant to fix that gap.
Kind of propel the gap.
Yeah. And it came from a place of good intentions, even affirmative action back then, all those things. It just ended up in a really bad place. Like things that were sometimes, what's it called? The road to hell is paved with
good intentions.
Yeah. It's kind of like that. And you could see how those policies that they did then has created the Jackson we see today, and those kinds of situations. And this is not me. This is actually black friends of mine who've explained that to me, where that's come. And you can see, and if everybody's being intellectually honest, you can see what that created, and particularly in the South a lot, And so I think that's where we tried to do things to rectify that gap, that head start, and what we did just ended up not really working very well, I think. I mean, some instances it did, but in terms it just didn't really work out the way that I think we had intended it to.
Well, and now you've created the racial industrial complex.
Yeah, and right, it's became this just snowball effect, right?
Snowball. It's a business, it's an economy, not just a business. It's a full-blown, the anti-white, pro-black racist agenda is a full-blown complex now.
Yeah.
Industrial complex. And people make their livings on it.
Right.
Just like I make my living doing this. It's a political industrial complex. The culture war industrial complex.
Yeah, the political, we always talk about grifters, in the political world. Like, it's amazing the amount of grifters that are around and that we see, and just everybody's trying to make a buck. That's what they're trying to do.
Man, I just don't know. Kim Wade talks about this a lot. I want to make sure I give him credit here. What's going on in Jackson, the people that have been running Jackson have been running it their way for the last 30-plus years, unabated. And we're supposed to just keep saying, you know what, but next year's the year y'all are going to really, that this puzzle is going to come together.
Yeah.
It's just one more swing at the bat, and this thing's going to connect, and all the dots are going to it's all going to make sense. That ain't happening. It's going as quick and far the other direction as it possibly can. You people can't run a city. You just can't. I mean, and by you people, I mean the ones who are currently doing it. Mm-hmm. I made this post the other day. There's obviously plenty of well-qualified black folks that can run a damn city. They've chosen not to partake in running the city of Jackson, and the ones that have are doing a absolutely terrible job at it, and they've put reparations for themselves in front of doing anything for anybody else.
Yeah, I mean, I think, our classic example here is Chokwe Lumumba,
and his select set of minority set-aside contractors.
Yeah, I mean, he's running a grift. I mean, he's using things like, one of my really good friends who's was a prosecutor for me, he's black, and he always used to call it, what did he call the civil rights pimps? That's the words he used, and he'd include like Jesse Jackson and stuff in this.
Black for a living.
Yeah, and he'd tell me this. I've never heard that phrase before until he told me this one time. He's like, yeah, they're hustling off of us. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to look at it. And I see white people that do this in a different context, but this in particular, we're talking about this. Chokwe's a really good example of that. Like, here's a guy who grew up privileged, by the way. His dad was a great lawyer. I don't know if people that knew him, he had his issues, obviously, but in terms of being an attorney, very successful, did a really, and he represented like Tupac and all those things.
Well, and the minute Chokwe got some money, he moved to the whitest part of Jackson.
Yeah, I mean, and so
I just can't take this stuff serious with him.
Chokwe grew up very privileged. He didn't come up hard. It wasn't like that. So, and he's
by the way, that's not even his real name.
Is that not? I thought he was. I know it wasn't his dad's real name, but
no, it's not even his real name. He's got a government name, and it ain't even. Somebody told me what it was the other day, assuming they weren't just making it up. I mean, there's something really simple. And if your name's Jason Davis, I apologize. It's just a generic name I'm using here. I mean, something really, really, really simple like Dwayne, Jason. It's not even a good strong.
I didn't know that. Okay,
it's not even a good strong four plus vowel name.
Well, I know his dad's name was Edwin Talaferro. And
yeah.
But I didn't know that. I thought he named him Chokwe when he was born. I didn't know that. But anyway, but yeah, he grew up in a really good situation in terms of
maybe they were talking about the dad, but I don't think so. But let me put that caveat in there, just in case I'm wrong here. Maybe they were talking about the dad.
Yeah, Dad's Edwin Talaferro, because I was like, man, that sounds kind of Italian, when you spell it out. But it's
there's only one vowel in his first name.
Edwin.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
No, two. A-E-I. Two.
Don't ask me about spelling and vowels.
Two.
So he's and I knew a lot of people that knew him, and and in that era, the 90s and stuff, early 2000s, and it's not like he didn't grow up in West Jackson, just rolling it as far as I know, and but he's so down, but he's created it like he's like like we talked about before, studio gangsters, right? That's one of my favorite terms I think you've said on the show. Like he's run that grift now. It's like everything. Oh my God, everything's racist. Look at all this bad stuff that's happened to me, and that's not true.
Well, and here's the thing, and we've had to sit back and take it.
Yeah.
The whites that stayed in Jackson and the ones that left have all had to sit back and take it and just sit there. And we're all racist, really. I mean, the ones that stayed here and put up with this crap and have had to deal with this and really know on the front lines what's going on here and who's to blame exactly, what culture exactly is to blame for the failures of the city and the leading the murder rate in the country 3 of the last 4 years. We know who to blame, but we're not allowed to mention that. Because that makes us racist if we acknowledge the truth. But they have no problem pointing the fingers at us and blaming us for everything that's going on. And you just thought that we were just going to sit back constantly and never say anything about it. Well, you're just terribly mistaken, because now Clay Edwards is on the call, and I'm not going to sit back and keep my mouth shut. And I'm not going to just throw the baby out with the bathwater and say this is all black people's fault. But it's damn sure the ones who are in office right now blaming everything on racism.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we've got the evidence for it. 30 years of like what's going on here. And I don't know that every black mayor of Jackson's blamed it on racism. I don't remember Harvey Johnson doing that. I don't remember Frank Melton doing that. To be honest with you, Chokwe seems the one that's most pervasive about it.
Sure, I think it's in your face. This is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember Tony doing that. Really, I don't remember him doing that. Chokwe took it to, because that was his grift. I mean, it's kind of like everything in politics. There's always that politician on either side of the aisle. We talked about Marjorie Taylor Greene this morning, right? She's running a grift, okay? I mean, and anybody could clearly see that. AOC is running a grift. Like, this is a common thing that's happened throughout the history of politics. Whatever your grift is, and some people buy into that, and that's fine. Chokwe's grift is the race hustle. Like, that's his grift, and he's planning it, and he doesn't care about anything but making money for himself, and doesn't care about the city, obviously. And he's going to run that grift as long as he can until I think he's about to be running out of time shortly, and the grift will be over. Thank God. But
it'll be next grifter up.
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Hopefully, I think there's some really good black people out there that Kim is one of them. There's DeKeither Stamps to me, and comes to my mind would be a great mayor.
Yeah.
There's plenty of really good black people that are not grifters that could run the city just fine. Like I think you said that before. So
100%. But if you don't go along with the crap that your Snowballs and Chokways of the world spew, and you don't stay in lockstep, you're a racist, according to them. And I'm not going to play that game with these folks anymore, man. Sean, I did it. I played that game for 30-some years from the time I was 15, 16 years old, growing up around black folks. I mean, I grew up around black folks, obviously, before then, but I'm just kind of, from when I got my driver's license, and all of my interactions wasn't necessarily determined by who my parents had me around, and I could go be around people. I played that card and felt sorry for folks, and knew that as an America we had done folks wrong. But at some point, you got to pull yourself up by the damn bootstraps and take advantage of the opportunities in front of you. And when you refuse to do that, I refuse to keep acknowledging that what happened 450 years ago, or up to 150 years ago, is what's wrong with you today. That is, again, Sean, you brought up the social programs from the 60s, affirmative action, the welfare programs, just all the things that we did as a country to try to, dating further back than the 60s, but that we did to try to right this wrong. Mm-hmm. And what we're continuing to do to try to right this wrong. And it's not being taken advantage of. Well, there are people taking advantage of it. Let me rephrase that. But overall, outside of the top, whatever top percent is in the black community, there's a whole lot of people below that are perfectly fine squalling in pity and poverty and doing nothing to get themselves out of it.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that's probably the problem with what we did in the 60s. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think I'm just going to – this is not just saying black people. Human beings in general. We know – you and I discuss these friends of ours that are like this too all the time. if you give people like an advantage, right, or like you can hear some free money, whatever, it doesn't give people incentive to do anything. And I think it's just a human thing. Where like, man, if I'm gonna sit on my butt and do nothing, get a check, I'm gonna do that. I mean, my example of the guy I've used many times on the show went so far as laid in the train tracks and got his legs severed so he'd get a check.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that's specific to a black person. I think that is people that are crazy and lazy and want to be lazy. And if I can get free money and all I gotta do is like be disabled, well, there's people that are willing to do that.
Well, yeah, I agree 100%. This isn't a black exclusive thing at all, but it's the blacks that are calling everybody a racist who call it out.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. I mean, I see what you mean.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got you.
If you acknowledge that that's the problem, you're a racist for even uttering the words
right.
that the social programs cause this.
Yeah, I think there are black people that would say that. The ones who actually pointed out to me were black, though.
Yeah.
Before I wasn't really thinking deeply about it. This is years ago and even recently, and then it's explained that was a problem. And I guess it just gets tangled in a race thing because it was directed to help African Americans, but. Like it's a people thing. People don't want to do anything.
Sure.
I mean, lots of people don't want to do it. It's like newsflash. People like to be lazy, and I mean, a lot of people don't like to be lazy. I think you and I are like that. But I got so many friends that just don't. They want to run a grift. They want to not do anything.
When your snowballs of the world call in and they start accusing you of being racist, and this started back when Trump came down that golden escalator. When it all escalated, for no pun intended there. When he came down that escalator, they said, we've got to go to the nuclear option. And the nuclear option in this country for the last 30 years or so has been, if you call somebody a racist, that's the scarlet letter. You've been written off. Your opinion doesn't matter no more. And you shouldn't even be able to provide an income for yourself or your family because we said you were a racist, story over, and we ain't doing that crap no more. You're going to have to prove somebody's a damn racist. You ain't going to just have to say it anymore. You're going to have to step up. You're going to have to prove it. And if Jackson is your example for why everybody's a racist and none of that's your fault, you're going to have a hard time proving that to Clay Edwards. We got to take a break. Yep. We'll be right back. Shaun, breaking rules when necessary. I think that describes the first couple segments, doesn't it?
Yeah, pretty much. Right. Snowballs is good for entertainment, I guess.
It is. Well, it's good to, again, I had a very well-known black DJ here in town. I still consider this guy a good friend. I just don't want to mention his name here because I don't want to drag him into nothing.
Yeah.
He's big. He's got a big radio show and all that on urban radio. And he just told me years ago, he said, Clay, we got to have a tough conversation about race. And I was like, I agree. We got to have a tough conversation, but it's not going to go the way y'all think it is because I'm going to expect some accountability in this conversation if we're going to have it. Because what they mean by tough conversation is, Clay, we're just going to need you to admit that y'all are a bunch of racists and that everything's your fault. And that ain't the way that's not the way this is going to go down. We've been doing that, and that way ain't worked. And we're going to have some real conversations, and it's going to require some accountability on both sides.
Yeah, I don't know that all. I guess because I'm always at the Hinds County Courthouse. I represent a lot of black folks that involved in some violent stuff, and I don't know that I get that sense. I think that's the chokeways of the world. I think what I talk to a lot of my clients, their mothers, I feel like they're just sad that the environment has created this kind of violence, where because these kids, man, a lot of these kids I represent, I represent a lot of people charged with murder and stuff. They're not bad kids, you know what I mean? They got caught up in really bad situations that, I know that sounds crazy for me to say that, but you meet a lot of, kids that are 18, how did this happen to you? Everybody's bad? That's not, I don't think that's factual. I think it's just this environment in the city.
It's a culture rot.
Has created, yeah. They're just, and you feel so bad for them because you're like, man, this was not even near what would happen to me when I was 18 or whatever, or be involved in a situation like that. And it's happening so much that it's the answer is that all these people are just bad people. That's not the answer. That's not the truth. There's something else that we're not addressing, having that conversation. What aren't we addressing? And why, what can we do to fix that?
You have to get the father back in the home.
I think that's true.
And you have to quit rewarding Shaun. I God bless you. God, your heart's in the right place here. It is. Mine's in the wrong place, and I'll admit that my lack of empathy and sympathy and my give a damn is completely busted with this. Your heart's in the right place, but I feel like you're wrong. I feel like I don't feel sorry for these people.
Yeah,
I think we've lost 2 generations of people, do at least actively 2 generations, and we're about to lose a third if we don't quit incentivizing this single mother industrial complex.
But let's say you didn't do that. Like, say you don't incentivize it, right? That was my next question I'm going to ask you. How can a specific government policy address a personal relation? That's a hard thing, right? I think we talk a lot about that, but like I hear conservatives talk about this too, and where they say like, well, we need to promote family. Well, how does government really do that, though? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Look, once the cat's out the bag, sans Springfield.
Yeah. Meow.
Meow. It's going to be hard to put it back in.
Yeah.
But we got to quit promoting sex. Man, I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth.
Oh, yeah. I was like, okay.
I can't believe these words are about to come out of my mouth. We're going to have to start censoring some damn music. And when people can start having their brains melted.
You're the one turning 50 and not Lindsay, actually.
Dude, dude, rap music has melted our brains. And this ain't just a black thing, it's a white thing. It melted my brain when I was young. I somehow snapped out of it. The media, it ain't just rap music, man. It's everything. I'm just saying the promotion of sex and violence and people's access to it at such a young age. And this is one of the things that I really respect Moms for Liberty and Lindsay and them fighting about.
Yeah.
Is that the access to this information.
Oh, I think that's true. I thought about that all the time, man. Can you imagine being 13 and having a cell phone now? Like when I was 13, I used to have to go to the convenience store down the street when I lived in Miami, like try to, there was like an Arab store clerk and we'd get him to sell us like Penthouse magazines, and everybody would share them.
Yeah.
And, like that was your access to that kind of stuff. It was like you bartering pornography magazines with your friends. I mean, that's kind of what you had to do. This is old school. And but now, like if I had my phone, like when you're 13, like that's a bad time to have that kind of access. And I don't care what everybody says. I got these blockers. Yeah, right. I mean,
you know how we as we learn and evolve as a country, we try prohibition on things. So some things work, some things don't. Something that to me that was good was moving the drinking age to 21.
So I totally agree with that.
Making people have to be, I think it's 17 to get a driver's license now. Yeah. I think 14, 15 is too damn young to be driving. I went through a windshield as a distracted driver at 15 years old.
Sure.
I was too young to be driving.
Yeah.
Especially on the interstate. I think we need to have a serious conversation about you having to wait till you're 18 to get a damn smartphone.
Absolutely. I think that's and I've seen a few documentaries, interviews about this, like this topic about waiting to these kids to get maybe at least like 16 or 17 or something.
I think get out of school. I think it's 18. I think get out of dang high school. 18 or out of high school, whatever comes first. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Welcome back in to a little train wreck radio here on the Clay Edwards Show. It's quite the eclectic show topics this morning with SHAUN YURTKURAN. Hey, guys, check out Men's Health in Mississippi. Get your testosterone levels checked. Maybe you need to lose 20 pounds or so. Give the semaglutide, the compounded Ozempic, basically. Give it a try. And, man, start getting your health in check. You will not regret it. Ever, ever. Ever, ever. And I'm actually going to be going over there this afternoon. But if you'll just text weight loss to 601-327-8550. Text weight loss to 601-327-8550. They will get you an appointment and get you a consultation and talk about the benefits of semaglutide. And just, man, talk about saving a bunch of money, not having to order that stuff online, having a real doctor here in Central Mississippi to help you along the way, answer any questions, and help track your progress and help you with anything. Men's Health in Mississippi is going to be the place for you. Also, if you want to get some testosterone, that's another part of the clinic. Text Clay to that same number, 601-327-8550. They'll get you hooked up with a complimentary testosterone screening. Again, SHAUN and I have been on it I've been almost 2 years. SHAUN's been over a year.
Yep.
Both doing the semaglutide. I hadn't gained a single pound, and I've been getting a little lazy with my diet. So it seems to be working. We will be right back with a whole nother hour of this crap show to go. Boom, shakalaka. It's hour 2 of the most incendiary show on the radio. This is a FAFO Friday. That's fool around and find out, and it can be the 4-letter word if we wasn't on the radio. But it's Friday here on the Clay Edwards Show with SHAUN YURTKURAN of the YURTKURAN Law Firm. Hey, this segment brought to you by our friends over at Stonington Farms. Man, Miss Katie reached out to me a couple days ago, and she let us know that they will be here in the central Mississippi area in Florence, Brandon, and Ridgeland this upcoming Friday, September 20th, a week from today. Shoulder roast, which cook beautifully in the crock pot, are the special for only $8.50 a pound. The mini cow is a great option as well. Get 10 pounds of ground beef, 10 pounds of roast, and 5 pounds of steak, all 10% off list price. Reach out to them at stoningtonfarm.com and try that grass-fed difference. 100% grass-fed, 100% grass-finished, mRNA-free, antibiotic-free, and steroid-free Mississippi-raised beef from right down there in Perkinston, Mississippi, delivered right here to central Mississippi. Again, check them out online, stoningtonfarm.com. They got all the different cuts available there. They got all the pricing. And try them out, man. You won't regret it. I'm telling you, that hamburger meat is to die for. And I've really been enjoying my chuck eyes that I got from them, too. So check them out, stoningtonfarm.com, the grass-fed difference. And if you can't remember how to spell that or need any help with that website address or whatever, just holler at me. I don't mind shooting it to you. The Mazda Jackson phone line, 601-879-0002. The Guns of Gear text line, 769-241-1944. Look, guys, I'm gonna pivot from that conversation from earlier, the snowball stuff and the whole racial conversation. I appreciate all the text. That's a rabbit hole that we can jump down and stay down it for 2 hours every day, and I just don't think anything comes from it anymore. There's times where I'm in here by myself. I don't mind doing it, but we got Sean in here. Let's have some conversation about some other things, like porn.
Yeah,
I'm kidding. Yeah. I'm kidding.
Who's against that?
Your girlfriend.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
Your girlfriend.
Yeah.
She got it banned in the entire state.
Yeah, that's right. Oh God, I just want a disservice to the.
What? Now let's talk about this. So I mean, look, I love Lindsay. She's one of my best friends, and I think the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah.
I don't think they set out to ban porn.
No, I don't think
they set out to keep kids from having access to porn and requiring an ID to have to watch porn.
And the porn got pulled out.
And then,
yeah. I mean, Yeah.
Well, and some lessons could be learned from some valuable lessons could be learned from their decisions. We'll just say that. Yeah. Don't let that $8 sundress cost you 18 years of child support.
Right.
But so porn ended up getting inevitably banned. It's not banned. It's not illegal in Mississippi, but the providers have decided they're not going to service Mississippi.
Now, there's other sites that just didn't apply with that you can visit. They're,
Yeah, the largest ones. And
yes.
I'm going to be honest. I'm conflicted on this because I 100% agree with the intentions of what they did. And just being a freedom of speech, First Amendment guy, I also understand Pornhub and these companies not wanting to be responsible for the data.
Sure.
And having to manage that data and keep people's driver's license and personal information on file.
It makes sense to me why they did it. Yeah, why they moved out.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I don't think why go through that procedure? If you don't have to.
Yeah. So circling back to our conversation about our phones.
No, but real quick, I just remember this but I wonder how much it cost them because Mississippi has like the highest porn usage in the country, something like that.
Yeah.
You heard that before? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So like you've had a lot of customers here, like more than, but I guess we have a small population, but per population, we use the most porn, which is ironic, I think.
And now look, and I don't know, I've never been on any of these websites, but my understanding is there's some free options available.
Yeah.
Like edited versions of the video.
Sure.
And then if you want to watch the full video, you have to pay a fee.
Sure.
And so if people are just really on there watching the free, like I'm assuming most people do, how much are you really missing? I don't think there's ads on there, traditional ads.
Yeah.
Like Google ad rate type,
Yeah, it's like, there's your porn and then there comes up like some other ad for like LL Bean or something.
Yeah. So I don't think there's traditional advertising on there. So I don't know. I don't know where outside of the subscription fee to watch the full videos, I don't know where the money necessarily comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I'm trying to think, like on the free ones, is there ads, and who would what their ad placed on, that was like like the car dealership may not want their ad. Like they would have to, because those are random ads based on your search histories, right?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you do that. I mean, is it like porn specific? Like,
I'm guessing those are probably blocked by Google.
Yeah, something, right? It's got to be. That's a good point. I never thought of that.
So they're called retargeting ads.
Yeah. Okay. There you go.
Yeah. Like, so the remarketing, whatever ads, and so if you go to Amazon and you look at something, you don't buy it, that or wherever, that item haunts you
forever, right?
Forever.
Yeah. I mean, but I imagine there's got to be something where that wouldn't show up on a porn site because advertisers wouldn't be associated. Like, I mean, but maybe some would, like Astroglide or something might be something that would pop up on your porn. If I could see specific things.
Yeah, absolutely. So on that topic, circling back to these phones and maybe needing to put an age limit on when kids can get legally have a smartphone.
Right.
Man, Sean, I just think about, and we talked about it during the break, and so let's try to keep this clean a little bit.
Sure, okay. Yeah. As it can be.
The hell that I would have raised at 13 years old with the access to things that kids have access to now.
Yeah.
And that's how it's easy for me to sit here and say, I know that they don't need this because I know, look.
13-year-old Clay Edwards in 1990 would have.
I found ways at 13, 14, 15 years old, talk about testosterone pumping through your veins, with only thinking about one thing, to get myself in a lot of trouble as it was.
Yeah.
Without the internet, without social media, without the ability to talk to every girl in my sphere of influence or on my friends list or whatever, I would have, at 14, 15, 21, 22, 25 years old, bro, I would have been like sliding in, like in the home base, every DM, would have ruined my life for the rest of it, based on the dumb things I would have done at that point in my life had I had access to what kids have access to now. And, we've seen it right here in Starkville, Mississippi. I want to say it was Starkville up there in that Golden Triangle area. We saw a kid get baited in, and he shared some nudes with somebody online, and they were blackmailing him for money.
Yeah. And
he killed himself.
Jeez, I didn't see that, but I mean, I'm sure that's pretty common. Those things happen. Right?
Yeah. And I want to say maybe there's a law coming out of that, but I don't know what the law could be. I mean,
well, there's already like a law that I think Lynn Finch got passed. Was about revenge porn, and all that kind of stuff. That's because it's become common, obviously nowadays, to share pictures with each other, or someone you're, have a relationship with, and so that then you break up, and then you got all this stuff on them, and then so now they made that kind of where that's a crime, and you can't do that. Just from a common sense standpoint, I would think that if, say you're a girl out there and you see a guy that shares that kind of stuff from his ex from a revenge porn standpoint, that should be the largest red flag out there. And if you choose to give that guy a chance, you're an idiot. Yeah. I mean,
you get whatever you got coming.
Or don't, make a video of yourself and send it to that dude. That might not be a good idea.
Let's take a call. I think we got Nathan on the line, on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, brother, you on there?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up,
man? Not much.
How about them Dolphins?
Hey, Nathan, man, that ain't cool. Tua got another concussion.
I'm just messing with you. I'm a Saints fan, so if we could just have a losing season, get rid of that broke-down car, and just revamp, I'd be fine with that.
Well, we need a quarterback now.
Y'all was talking about all the y'all was talking about all the P-Hub stuff. I figured it was prime time to call with the college game day game of the weekend, the Gamecocks versus the LSU Kitty Cats.
Is that the game for the weekend?
Yeah, with those two names, with Trump grabbing the, whatever, and then the Gamecocks, they always make a, whatever kind of verbiage on that. I figured that might be one they could sell off the P-Hub for.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, look, it's a family-friendly show.
Kind of like the. Oh no!
Sometimes
how they're doing all the NFL. You got to go on Peacock, you got to go on Amazon to buy all these things. Just making a joke of the day. But you guys, a good weekend.
You too, Nathan.
Have a good one,
Nathan.
Nathan.
What are y'all eating today?
Oh, it's Friday, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I don't think anything today, man. I really don't have an appetite right now.
Yeah.
But if I do, you'll find me at one of the Martins.
Yeah, right.
Well, I forgot we were actually talking about doing lunch today. Friday kind of snuck up on me. I missed yesterday. I thought yesterday was going to be a day of death and destruction weather-wise. I stayed up late Wednesday night watching all the weather, and I was like, man, it's going to be flooded here at nothing else. I just don't really want to take a chance of driving.
So did I.
The power out here in Florida leaves more to be desired when strong winds and storms come through. So there's a part of me that also just kind of assumed that we'd probably be without power at the station. So I was like, man, I'm going to let if Matthew Bishop wants to do my show, I'm going to let him fill in for me because he lives a little closer. And so that's why there wasn't a show yesterday. But there was a point in that conversation. I don't know why I was telling you all that, and started that conversation, completely forgot why I was telling you all that. What were we talking about before that?
Cell phones and access to things when you're young,
Well, yeah, let's take a call from Derek while I scrape my brain to remember what we were talking about. Hey, Derek, you're on the air, brother.
Hey, brother, how you doing? Hey, I got a quick question for you guys. Any of y'all get a chance to listen to Judge Joe Brown's interview he did on, I think it was on a podcast, and they asked him about Kamala Harris, and he told you she was a piece of crap?
Oh, yeah.
He didn't say. Did y'all see that? Have y'all noticed nobody in Black America has even bothered to talk about that? You got Joe Brown, a credible person, a credible judge and attorney, telling you that she's not a black woman, that he knew her father. And if she wants credibility, maybe she should go have her father do an affidavit saying she is what she is. But she hadn't even done that. And I want to know what y'all thoughts were about that, because remember, the whole Black America and American general vilified Rachel Roldahl for doing the same thing. But nobody's batting an eye for Kamala Harris.
I know the whole racial appropriation stuff, man. It's wild. I was having this conversation with somebody yesterday. It only matters when they need somebody to be black to further their cause. That's the only time somebody mixed becomes black to what feels like most of Black America. And just like with Kamala Harris, she can be the first, even though she's not black, she can be the first black female president. We're gonna say she's black, and she just go along with it because it furthers their narrative or whatever it is agenda they want to push. And we're all supposed to just sit back and play along. And if you call it out, here we go with this. You're a racist if you acknowledge this again.
Well, take America's class clown, Charlemagne the God. That annoying Rachel Yee on this show, Angela Yee on his show, she's a prime darn example. When you read her bio, she's never experienced any of that type of living that she portrays on that Worthless Breakfast Club show. Not that I ever watch it. I may listen to when somebody like Larry Elder or somebody was on there.
Same here.
But Angela Yee is a prime example of you're only black when it benefits you. But your bio says something totally different, and your lived experience doesn't say anything about the urban life, but yet you adopt that wigger, well, in her case, sugar, lifestyle and attitude and voice, and nobody bats an eye for her. And I, for one, am kind of puzzled that no one has said anything that, with concrete proof provided that she's not what she says she is, but yet beta male blacks like Snowball and all those guys will still want to support. And I just wonder, what's wrong with Black America?
And what's funny, and you got your Byron Donaldsons and Tim Scotts of the world who are obviously straight up unquestionable black men. I mean, there ain't no gray area, no white parent or immediate white grandparent, none of that. And those guys will absolutely disassociate themselves with them, call them a bunch of Uncle Toms, and they ain't black and all this stuff because they ain't Democrats.
So if Noodleback, old Noodleback, Brad Chameleon is listening, I want to hear your thoughts on that. I noticed you ain't wrote any crappy articles about it yet, but, that Noodleback guy, he'll be a prime example of somebody that'll say, she's a black woman. Dude, Judge Joe Brown, you can't get no more credible than that she isn't. But nobody is batting an eye. Hey, brother, you have a good weekend.
You too, brother. Real quick, thank you, Derek, for the call there. I was talking about lunch and why I forgot when I got into that rabbit hole about not doing the show yesterday.
Yeah.
And what we were talking about was I forgot about lunch today. I lost today. Like I think I was texting you last night. I said I text Sean and about something, and he's like, "What? Like a football game's on?"
Oh yeah, I was in the middle of his concussion. I was like,
"Yeah."
no.
I was like, "Oh, sorry, I've lost today. I forgot it was Thursday night football tonight. I should have known better than to text about something political when football." When
I was like, "What are you doing?"
I was like, so I just completely lost today.
I think you texted me something about Lou's closing, which is right next to my house, actually.
Yeah, we got to take a break, but Lou's Full Serve is closing their Jackson location and kind of merging it with a really nice way of saying we're getting the hell out of Jackson. I thought that whoever wrote their press release there for their social media did a fabulous job of massaging a negative and turning it into a positive. So kudos to them. Whatever they're paying them, they deserve a bonus. But yeah, I was just texting Sean. I was like, "There's just no sacred cows left in Jackson. Like no established." I don't want to say iconic, but I will iconic businesses or buildings or ventures or anything. Nothing is sacred anymore. What these people won't celebrate leaving this town. Well, all the Thalliamore Hall is closed.
Lou's is great too. I can't believe you can walk from my house to there.
I love Lou's.
And it's always packed too. So I was really surprised to hear that. I'd heard that actually. So I was at Finian's like the last week it was open, and they had told me about that. And apparently somebody's thinking about putting a sports bar in there.
Yeah,
which that would be cool. I mean, I'm down with that for sure.
And I did say, I think I made a longer form video about it. I made about a 20-minute video discussing it in detail and some of the problems that restaurants face doing business in Ochakwe, Lumumba, Jackson, Mississippi that you won't hear about in other media, from other media outlets, including racism and some other things. So check that out on my YouTube at SaveJXN. It posted last night. I went on and put it up instead of waiting until this morning. I thought I did a rather good job. But yeah, man, there's just. What I did say was, I'm sure somebody will come in behind there, and it will, as long as they got some long money and can do it right, as with anything.
The place is real nice.
It should do
inside.
well.
Yeah, it's really nice in there. I mean, looks like it's ready to go. I think
maybe it'll be another Mexican restaurant.
Yeah, we need enough of those. There's like 2 already on fortification. But if if these federal indictments come down and kind of take down the hierarchy of Jackson, maybe that will spur some reinvestment in the city if like this all stuff's gone. So
let's talk about it on the other side of the break. We'll be right back. Shaun YURTKURAN on the Clay Edwards Show. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Well, guys, we spent that last segment talking about lunch. I guess we should tell you what's going on today at some of our great sponsors. Let's start with Burgers Blues Barbecue. All 3 locations, downtown Brandon, Dogwood in Flowood, and, of course, Madison. The Blue Plate specials of the day are hamburger steak, red beans and rice, and, of course, it's a fried fish Friday at all 3 Burgers Blues Barbecue locations. Maybe you want breakfast. Swing by, stop by the Madison or the Flowood location this morning. Grab one of their fresh, made-from-scratch Southern-style biscuits, chicken and waffles, and more, available at Burgers Blues Barbecue. And, of course, the downtown Brandon location, I'm not sure. They have live music. It's kind of hit and miss. Check out their Facebook page, Burgers Blues Barbecue. There's 3 different Facebook pages, one for each location, and you can kind of see who's playing where on what nights there. And are open for dinner as well. Try one of the famous burgers, award-winning burgers, wings, and more. Burgers Blues Barbecue. Check out all the games there. They got loads of TVs in all the locations, so you will not miss any games when you're eating lunch or dinner at Burgers Blues Barbecue. Don't forget, they got 2 catering trucks for all your catering needs as well. And starting this Wednesday night at the downtown Brandon location, it's the return of Cordless Corner, the music competition brought to you by SHAUN and the Clay Edwards Show, amongst other people, the YURTKURAN law firm, and others. So we'll be out there every Wednesday night I'll be out there from about 5 p.m. until we're going to be doing a live broadcast on my online platforms. So come out, say hey, grab a FAFO shirt, meet everybody, enjoy a great night of live entertainment, competition, and good food at Burgers Blues Barbecue starting this Wednesday for the next 4 weeks. All right, Shaun, where were we at? Let's shift gears.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears. I did a bunch of show prep, and we hadn't talked about any of it. We did talk about Lou's Full Serve. I had that on there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know what I was going to say. Some of the struggles like Jackson business owners have, and you brought up the point, maybe we'll get a chance for a hard reset.
Yeah.
Or at least somewhat of a reset when Chokwe gets out of office. And, I just don't think people understand the struggles that these businesses go through in Jackson. And I stumbled across this story because, I believe this caucus, this Free the Land caucus that's run in Jackson, I believe they're totally crooked and corrupted. And I found a story yesterday. Now, this is going on in New York, but I want y'all to listen to this. It's about 2 minutes long. I'm not going to play the whole thing, but just the gist of it. It's actually about 6 minutes long. We're going to play about 2 minutes of it because it'll tell the story at the beginning. And I'm going to tell y'all, I think this is happening in Jackson, but I think it's happening, well, I'll explain after the video. This is about police insisting on bribes from bar owners to not harass them. And this goes all the way up to the top of NYPD. Really?
Huh?
It lost my volume there. What are we doing here? Well, we seem to be having a problem with that. So I'll say this. There's a bar owner in New York who has been getting a lot of noise complaints and the police coming and harassing him. Well, he somehow or another, the twin brother of the police commissioner there reaches out to the guy and says he can make his problems go away. It can be about $2,500 or so paid to him.
Oh, wow.
And his problems will go away. You know, I got to thinking. I was like, man, that's absolutely got to be what's going on in some of these bars in Jackson.
They're getting shut down. Absolutely, I bet.
Well, but hear me out on this.
Okay,
so, you know, there's obviously some really great establishments that run their bars and restaurants the right way.
Yeah.
And they have proper security and they don't take any nonsense and they run it right.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's some, like the ones on the corner of Tom Bigby and State, that don't.
Yeah.
And some of the stuff that's going on out at the M Bar. And a lot of these clubs are the Daiquiri Bar where people are getting murdered.
Or you see all the, when I was at the DA's office, I was shocked if you go out to West Jackson, the amount of bars. There are little bars all over.
We call them honky tonks. They call them lounges.
Right.
Little lounges and stuff.
They're all over the place.
They're all over the place. Man, Sean, there's no reason that with I've just been watching these videos of that place on the corner of Tom Bigby and State.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's 2 or 3 places in there, so I don't know who to cast the blame on, maybe all of them. But I want to be careful about pointing the finger because I'm not 100% sure. I've been watching the videos, and all the resources that are having to be used every time that place is open with Capitol Police, paramedics, fire, all that having to be out there because of fights and violence and shenanigans every night they're open. Sean, that should be put on the nuisance list and shut down immediately.
Yeah.
And I got to wondering, like all the murders that happen at some of these places, like the M Bar. I mean, everybody knows that it got nicknamed the Murder Bar.
That was pretty bad for a while. Right?
Yeah, and they seem to have gotten that under control.
Yeah, did you see the commercials that they've done?
Mm-mm.
Like, I guess they revamped the whole place. And the commercials, you think you're going to like a Buffalo Wild Wings.
Yeah.
Like if you were from out of town, you're like at a hotel, you'd be like, oh, that looks like Buffalo Wild Wings. Let's go over there.
Then you get there and you're like, I got tricked.
Yeah.
But look, that aside. I wonder if these people are paying the police off to leave them alone so they can run these hellholes.
Oh, I totally believe that. Or maybe not maybe it's our favorite friend.
That's real. I said police. I didn't necessarily mean police, but Chockway's in charge of the police department.
Yeah, I mean,
word comes. We've all heard the stories. I've heard it from cops who aren't in Jackson anymore that they pulled over dope boys called Chockway. Next thing you know, a commander shows up and says he's got you. That you're letting them go.
Yeah. I've heard rumors.
Yeah, allegedly. But is that not believable given everything else we know?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how to put it this way. I would say it's my opinion that's probably happening. I'm not going to say it's, but I mean, it's more believable than it's believable that that's not happening. That's the best way I want to say.
Exactly.
Like, I totally believe that he has got some outfit to shake down any business he probably can. I mean, remember, this goes back to the first hour. This is a grift. He's not trying to change the city and make it better. He is trying to make money off of it. So he's going to pocket. I mean, how does a guy that can't even pay his credit card bill? We saw that on Kingfish's site. He can't even pay. It was like a $6,000 credit card bill, but he lives in a mansion on Ridgewood, Road right there, gated with like 4 houses in it. I mean, he's running a shakedown grift, I'm sure. Or which I don't know exactly what it is, but I'm going to guess it's something of that nature.
You got these bars that aren't ran right, and instead of shutting them down, you get paid to look the other way.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you right now.
That happen.
And when I ran my clubs in Jackson, if that had been an option to keep the police out of my hair, I would have gladly paid them, just as a business decision.
Sure, yeah. I mean, pay the administration to keep things going.
Here's $1,000 a week, $2,500, whatever it is, to not have that pain in my butt. And I can do whatever I want to do. Yeah. Come on down.
I mean, Do you remember when they banned smoking in the city, like about 15 years ago?
I sure do, because I owned a club in the city when it happened.
Well, there were other clubs in the cities that didn't have to quit smoking, because I mean, and how did that happen? I don't know specifically, but I can make educated guesses how that went down.
I will say this. I mean, one thing about the black crowd that I liked was they weren't never like big cigarette smokers necessarily. It wasn't a hard enforce
right
at our spot.
Okay,
it really wasn't, and it was something I was definitely game for doing.
It's been the greatest thing ever.
I don't smoke, and I got tired of coming home and you're always sweaty and your clothes smell like cigarette. Your house smells like it after a while. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I don't smoke, but I'm getting all the negatives of smoke.
Yeah.
So I was really, really happy with that, and it was something I didn't mind enforcing pretty quickly. And thankfully, we had a crowd that I think kind of felt the same way. Mm-hmm. I mean, we didn't kick people. We weren't rude about it, but it was just never a huge issue with the black crowd. The white crowd was much different.
I remember that from Martin's days, when that went down, that there was a lot of them that were upset about that. And then finally, I think when Joseph revamped the bar about 7 years ago, totally went away, and it's changed big. The place, the place is great now, Mm-hmm. But I think there were people that were upset about it from what I remember those days.
Yeah, people just like to sit around and marinate in their cigarette. I get it. Mm-hmm. I mean, if I did it and didn't want to go outside, and I was married to a smoker, and forever she'd get up and go outside. Then there towards the end, she just thought she was just smoking in the house, and that was a big negative for me.
Yeah,
big negative. Well, that wasn't the only thing, but but that was definitely one of the. You get very unforgiving of things like that when other stuff is going on,
right?
But I don't want to smell cigarettes. I don't like cigarettes, but I don't. If you smoke, that's on you. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could date a smoker now just because they're constantly upside, inside, outside, inside. Come outside and smoke with me. It's a big inconvenience.
Oh yeah. I'm glad. I wouldn't want to either. A lot of it, it's not. 50 years ago, it felt like you saw more people smoking. Now the younger kids don't really, they vape and they do those kinds of things. So at least that's a good habit to go away.
It is. It's one I'm glad that we have moved on from. But yeah, I just saw that video last night as I was looking for a little show prep, and I was like, it's very interesting because they brought this point up. This is on Breaking 911, and it says the deck of cards in NYC is about to fall. And it threw this reminder out. The FBI confiscated 2 cell phones and an iPad belonging to Mayor Eric Adams last November. And I believe he's tied into this. And I think, let's not forget that the FBI confiscated Chokwe's phone. Mm-hmm. There's no telling what all they're going to find in that thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, I think that's going to be really interesting. That brings me to another thing. So he was going around town, I think, trying to say, nothing was going to happen to him. And I think that narrative's kind of changing in the community is what I hear. Yeah,
I think people have accepted it. It's interesting. I mean, look, throw it out there. I mean, we could be completely off base and Chokwe is completely innocent and good. If he is good,
yeah,
prove it.
Right. Well,
prove it.
Innocent until proven guilty, but the other way, right?
Yeah, I mean,
because he's already this assumption that he's done something because there's so many things. Right?
The track record of ineptitude tells me different.
Yeah, I mean I think it goes back, the garbage contracts. There's all this innuendo about that. I mean, and that whole thing went off kind of shady. So
and him and his sister or whatever, fighting this Ted Hennepin thing, all the way to federal court, trying to get control of the who gets the contracts. Why do you care? It ain't your money.
Yeah.
Why do you care? You as the mayor of the city and his free the land sister, they should just be damn glad that the water's being fixed and that Big Daddy federal government, aka the rest of America, is paying for it. It shouldn't matter who's getting the contract. Damn your minority set-aside contractors. You only care because you're not getting your cut now.
That's all it's about. I mean, he's like he's like the aliens in Independence Day. Do you remember the story they were talking when they found out when the president gets caught in that mind trance from the alien? And he said, I know what he's going to do. They're going to suck up all our resources and move from planet to planet. That's like Chokwe Lumumba. He's going to suck up the whole city as long as he can and then move on to something else. Suck up that.
Well, it's the Free the Land Caucus. They came down here from Michigan. They did it in Michigan, Detroit, and now they're doing it in Jackson because they said to themselves, where are the stupidest bunch of people in America at that will fall for this grift? Jackson, Mississippi. We'll be right back. Welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. Guys, we've talked about lunch a lot. Let's talk about a little liquor for the night. Get by 042 Wine and Spirits right there on Highway 80 next to Sonny's Barbecue in Brandon, Mississippi on 042. The 042, Brandon, a la the name 042 Wine and Spirits, the real Brandon, let's be honest. Anyway, man, stop by a locally owned, locally operated, first liquor store there in Brandon, voted best liquor store in Brandon. Good folks. Stop by, see Kevin, Kim, Brad, the whole crew over there. Let them help you with the perfect elixir, perfect drink combination. If you need to know how to make something, ask Kevin. He was a bartender all around town for years and years and years. He'll gladly jot you down a quick little recipe, let you know what you need to do, let you know what you need to get to make that a reality. And man, all the wines, perfect food combinations, everything. Going to one of the games this weekend. I don't know if everybody got a home game, road game. I'm so out of the loop with sports, but they'll definitely be on TV, and you're going to want some drink to enjoy it with. Get by 042 Wine and Spirits. Get the perfect bottle of bourbon, tequila, Fireball, Jaeger. They got it all from airplane size single shot bottles all the way up to half gallons and stuff of select wine and liquor. All right, that's 042 Wine and Spirits right there next to Sonny's Barbecue, Highway 80 in Brandon, Mississippi, basically right in front of the Cross Gates neighborhood. Sean, let's see here. I got a caller on hold. Let's go there on the Mazda Jackson phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Yeah, this is Eddie from Clinton.
Hey, Eddie.
I got a question. It's not something you can answer, but it's a question that I've had in mind. And when you were talking about the Jackson water, and you said that the feds were operating that city water or pumping money into it, if they're continuing doing that, and if the city of Jackson is continuing to collect money for the water, as a resident of Mississippi, my tax dollars, my federal dollars are going into that water system. I think we need some accountability about all the money that's going into it. Where's it going?
Well, it's all being handled by a third party now, which is the federal government or a separate entity, JXN Water. That's actually an incorporated business. So when you hear Jackson Water, that's actually the name of the business now. And I'm not sure. I know that they're in charge of the money. I'm not sure who technically the money belongs to, like if it belongs to the city of Jackson or if it belongs to JXN Water. And the city of Jackson has no access to that money. I believe that's the case. They lost complete control of the water system. So
okay. Well,
I'll have to double check.
If that's the case, then I'm good with it. But the problem I had was when you made the comment, all of a sudden I got to thinking, well, wait a minute. If the feds are operating that thing, and obviously they're putting money into it, and if the city of Jackson is collecting revenue off of that money, off that water, then there needs to be some accountability about where all this money's going. Because you hear the horror stories about some of these water bills that these poor people in Jackson are having to pay, and it's just out here in Clinton, our water is like petroleum. I mean, it's as high as I've ever seen water. But it is what it is. The cost of living today is horrendous of what it used to be.
Amen.
And so when I heard when you were talking this morning, I said, "Wait a minute, something ain't adding up here." And I didn't realize that entity was not the city of Jackson. If that's the case, and if it's being overseen by the feds, I guess it's okay.
Well, I mean, if you got to bottom out,
was that. I'm sorry?
I was just saying, I guess it's okay given the other option. They had to bottom out so they had to screw it up so bad that Big Daddy government had to step in and fix their problem. And that seems to be their modus operandi. Was it modus operandi? How do you say that word? Modus operandi.
Yeah. Well, if that being the case, then it sounds like to me they need to dissolve the incorporated Jackson and just let the powers that be control it.
I agree.
They're collecting taxes to run the city of Jackson, but yet the city of Jackson is not running everything. So it makes you wonder what's going on here. And I don't understand why the feds aren't coming in and taking a harder look at this since the debacle with the water. You would think they would take a look at the rest of what's going on in Jackson and say, wait a minute, either this has got to be fixed or they're going to have to take it over. And all they got to do is de-incorporate Jackson. That's the end of it. But that'll fix it.
Yeah. Appreciate you, brother. Have a great weekend. Thank you.
You got.
Yeah, good call there. Sean, I agree with what he says. And I'm not sure about I know that JXN Water is collecting the water money. We know that.
That's what I pay.
And I know it's going to fixing the water and keeping it functional. So I know like Chockway and them don't have access. I don't know if they're allowed to count that as revenue or how that works on the back end, on the bookkeeping side of it.
Not exactly sure. Yeah.
But I know they don't have access to spending the money.
No, I mean, that's what, Chockway and them were so angry about. And I mean, no, I know he's, because we've got that $40 water availability fee that's going to, which everybody's mad about it, but in the long run, there's got to be a way to fund the system. Yeah. And that's what, Hennepin has explained. So, that's supposed to go to the repairs and running the system, in a profitable manner. So I don't know when that gets turned back to. Hopefully never, I would think. Yeah, but no. I assume there's a timetable for that to happen, which I imagine is many years in the future. I'm talking about maybe even a decade. I don't think it's anything like in the near future that would ever happen, as far as what I've read. But I think it comes to the next question, conversation where what he just said about, I guess de-incorporating the city, revoking its charter, whatever. I don't know the legal mechanism for that. But I think that's the conversation that we need to be having. I know there's a Save Jackson committee that Fred's told us about, and I know they didn't have those conversations as far as I know yet. But I think once these indictments come out, and they're coming. I mean, so from everything they're hearing, it's coming. I think that this is a real conversation that we need to have. And I think it's an important one about what the operation of the city from this point of utter disaster once that happens, right? Yeah. What do we do? What's the next step? Because I think if we just go back to a next scheduled election, what happens is what you say. What happens? We elect another idiot that's going to skim the system, and I'm not saying there might be somebody good. I don't know that, but
there's good people running. I just know the people aren't going to elect good people.
That's what I'm concerned about. And
the next guy that gets up plays the race grift, and I'm 17% more black than this guy. I'm your guy.
Yeah, I love Jesus 27% more than my opponent kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, let's take our break. We'll be right back. Playing here, we got about a minute left with SHAUN YURTKURAN here on a Friday. I want to thank everybody for the calls and texts today. Sorry I didn't read any of your texts on air today. I just didn't want to jump further down the snowball rabbit hole, but I thought we had some great conversations. We advanced some topics, had a little bit more of a serious show than I thought we would. Had some fun stuff too. So, SHAUN, great week of shows. I appreciate you. Yeah. I'll be back here Monday with Lindsey Beckham. If you're looking for somewhere else to eat today or this weekend, Acme Pizza and Daiquiris, get out there and enjoy some great pizza there on the reservoir at Fannin Mart. Hit up either of the Martins, Livingston, or downtown Jackson. And, of course, it's a Fried Fish Friday over at the Old Tavern on George Street today, too, with their Blue Plate Special. Always fresh, never frozen, locally sourced stuff from there. It's fried chicken Friday at both Martin's locations. So if fish ain't your thing, you want some fried chicken or country fried steak, get over there to Martin's. The whole menu is available every day with the rotating Blue Plate Special. And they still do ribeye steak night on Friday nights. I think so. It's like Friday night steak night.
Steak tips.
Is it steak tip? I think they do the whole ribeye. They do the whole ribeye steak. And then, of course, we got all the live entertainment and everything at both venues. You can check them out on Facebook or at Martin's Downtown JXN and see the lineup. I will see you guys back Monday. The podcast will be available here shortly at Clay Edwards Show. Just search that wherever you download podcasts. Check out my YouTube channel. Really putting a lot of fresh internet exclusive content up there at Save JXN. I'll see y'all Monday. Peace out.